What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Ever Adaptive Podcast. I'm your host, Beckie Flowers, along with my co-host here, Sarah Budson.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Pretty good. It's Friday when we're
It
recording
is,
this.
it is Friday. I have been off on my days like all day this week because this whole week has just been like so jumbled, so off routine everywhere. I'm like yesterday I thought it was Friday, but then I also at one point thought it was like Tuesday. I'm like,
Oh God,
I don't even know anymore, but we're riding the wave.
we're right here. And I love it because it goes into like our topic of transitions and changing. And
Yeah. So we kind of wanted to touch on like transitional periods, how you show up, physically, mentally, functionally, but just kind of like being in those in between spaces of, a lot of things aren't solid right now. And I wouldn't even say like solid, but a lot of things aren't like in a structure right now, like solidified one way or another, and it's chaos.
yeah, I feel like it's a lot of balls in the air, and you don't know which one is going to come down, and you have to figure out if this option happens, what am I doing? But then if this ball comes down, what am I going to do over here?
Great, great way to put it. I'm
That's how
feeling
I
it
feel
right
all
now.
of my life.
Yeah. I'm feeling it right now. We're both in the thick of the in between. God.
Very much so. I'm like annoyed by us because of all the like we are very adaptive and we're very like in the thick of it.
So
But it's just
funny.
I know. I'm sorry. But it's so true. Like we're both very much so in these positions in life where we have 20 million balls in the air and something's going to come down. We don't know which one. And, but yet we still have to show up and you still have to show up to your job and your family, your relationships,
Yeah.
gut
Yeah.
protocol.
Yeah, you have your non-negotiables and your priorities, right? What are you prioritizing through, what you have to get done while everything around you is kind of like shuffling around like crazy, and still being able to stay somewhat clear-minded in what you must get done. What is a non-negotiable? What do you need to show up for? And however the cards fall around you is how they fall, and we continue to show up and put our best foot forward. And we can't control everything, control what you can, which is that's it, right? How you show up, and the universe will take care of the rest.
It's very true. And it's like you literally are the only one that can control you. And I just want to like point that out again because so many times we think that we can control if it's our kids or like we're with a spouse for 25 years, we think we know them inside out. Like you still can't control that person. You don't know every move that they're going to make. So you need to just control what you can do.
Yeah, and I think something really important is staying neutral, staying neutral in whatever happens, right? Staying even keel, and like if one of those balls drop and you're not ready for it, like you you got to just take it for what it is and adapt and still show up, still move forward. Like everything good and bad is happening to you for a reason, and there is something on the other side of it. So staying neutral and not acting out of emotion and not, freaking out whether it's good or bad, because these can be good things too.
Yeah.
I'm going through a lot of like really big good changes too, but it's like it's a lot all at once. And here I am, like in the middle of gut protocol when we're trying to like reduce
Mhm.
stress. I'm trying to bring my BG down, and I'm like, well, this is a fucking wonderful time for
Right. And you're like, well, let's just throw this in here. Just see what happens.
I want to be like, hey, so Mark, I know that like last week when I checked in, like things were good, and they were good for like 3 days after that. But then,
But then But I think it comes back to that emotional regularity. It's not even a
Mhm.
word. Just regulating your emotions where you're not like so high, lows, because life is gonna life. You're gonna have crazy huge things that happen, and learning to keep yourself at that neutral position is so key. And I love that you brought that up. Um, what would you do though? So, like for me, I'm learning this, but originally when I heard that, I probably would have thought like I'm just gonna think the worst. Because if I think the worst, then I'm prepared and it's like it's not, I'm neutral. Like that's what I would think of my neutral. But I know that you're really good at this. So how do you kind of stay at that neutral position?
That's a great question. It's a muscle you have to train. It's definitely a muscle you have to train. And with things that happen, like sit with it for a second. Obviously, do not act out of emotion either way, good or bad. Never, never, never act out of
Yeah.
emotion.
So
um,
hard.
but like, because if you prepare for the worst, right, that could put you in a frame of mind of maybe possibly pushing the worst to happen, right?
Hmm.
Or the other way, if you're like, oh, well, nothing bad is going to happen and something bad happens or whatever, then you're ill prepared for it. And I think staying neutral, I don't have good advice for how to do it other than like literally being in that surrender point of just being, knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what happens. Like, there is true, I truly believe that there is a plan for all of it. And it's going to play out however it needs to. And sometimes it's a lot more fast paced than you're ready for,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily mean that the worst is going to happen. Where I think staying detached from things emotionally is key here, because like there's that saying, right? Like don't become attached to anything that you like wouldn't be able to walk away from, right?
Oh, I've never heard that.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, because like think about it. Like in any situation, like if you were to lose it, like you're still gonna be okay. You know, I just the craziest, I just saw an Instagram post earlier and it was from Sean Whalen. He posted that his wife just divorced him like 6 weeks ago, like filed for divorce like 6 weeks
What
ago. Yeah, exactly. Right. Crazy. And
the fuck?
yeah, and it's like he used to post so many things about like how to build the perfect relationship and like
Yeah.
always support, like I loved his relationship advice, but that it had me kind of like at a loss earlier because I was like, he's like, it was like she filed for divorce out of nowhere, like no warning, no explanation, no nothing, right? Which like, okay, yeah, take everything with a grain of salt
Yeah,
for
everything with a
sure,
grain of salt.
right? There's always three sides to every story. Remember that. But regardless, like in that caption, and I kind of want to find it because it was a really good, the way he broke it down, it was really good in still like, yeah, he was devastated, but like he knows that there's a plan. He knows that it all happened for a reason, right?
And I mean, there's so many couples that divorce isn't the end. So,
Right.
I mean, I have to go see this after we're done. So,
I'm gonna read the caption. So it's been a wild 6 weeks. A lot of questions, a lot of pain, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of broken promises, a lot of frustration, sunny days, dark days. But in the process, a lot of clarity and a new reality for me. No chasing. I showed up seeking conversation and clarity. And finally, one day, I realized that some answers need no words, and some lessons and self respect come with a price tag of not getting what you desired. After what seemed like a year-long storm yesterday, I stood watching my dream and vision literally come alive. He got a he has a building. He's building a building. So,
Oh, okay.
with these metal beams, which I was reminded that 3 years ago, I created this vision and project for my family. And even though my partner has removed herself from our life and chosen a different path, my vision commitment has not wavered. I'm still me. My love and passion is still here. My faith is unwavered. My goal is set. My heart is still open. And I am accepting what is. No chasing, no forcing, accepting. We all deserve to be wanted and cherished. We all deserve to be respected and appreciated, to have a partner who chooses you and is all in, even me. I've chased my whole life. I begged for love and acceptance because deep down I lacked love for me. I received a gift 6 weeks ago. I received an opportunity to face my deepest fear and venture inside and find a way to truly value me without needing a single bit of external validation that I had been seeking for so long. After weeks of work, I finally found it. Life is beautiful. All these moments and all these experiences, I've lived and built a pretty rad life. I regret none of it. I truly adore love in a marriage so much. I love deep and I love hard, so I will mourn an ending and celebrate a new depth within. Thank you, God, for the tenacity to keep going, for the dignity and loyalty I carry, for the fortitude and willingness to fail big, love big, dream big, and the deep humility to learn and grow as equally big. And I just think that's such a good, it's such a great and relevant thing to this topic, right? Because just like you said, preparing for the worst, like you can't ever be prepared for the worst. It's like, think about someone you love passing away, right? Like when my grandma was in hospice and I knew that she was going to pass away. You still can't prepare yourself enough for when it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
So why steal your happiness knowingly rather than being present and staying even and neutral with it, and just like he said, accepting what is and whatever happens, and just knowing that no matter what, like this is going to work out. These in-betweens suck, especially when there's not an answer. We all carry this anxiety because we don't know what's on the other side of it or what the end looks like. But it's like, if you can't control it anyway, why are you looking thinking, and this is something I'm very guilty of, is being so forward thinking that
Mhm.
I'm not enjoying the present. And it's something that I'm really working on.
No, I like, hang on one second. Got the dogs in here.
Always chaos.
All right. Sorry. Um, anyways. No, I do like that. And I see at first when you like brought it up, I was like, where's this going? But it's so true. Like you have to just stay neutral. You have to stay at this point of accepting what is for what it is. And that could be bad, but it also could be something that you view as bad that could turn into the best thing ever. I just had someone tell me that the other day. You gotta stop, man. He's so whiny. Um,
You can barely hear him. So
okay, good.
yeah, no, don't worry about
He's
it.
barking at me. But he, someone told me the other day, they're like, the hardest parts, and they're about in their 60s and they've gone through a lot of life. And they're like, one of the coolest things that I've seen is whenever I think that something is going wrong in a direction that I wanted to happen, it always turns into the best thing in my life. And I can see like years down the line where it's turned. And I mean, this man has had like crazy, crazy things happen to him. And you're just like, how can you see that good? But it's true. Like you never know which ball is going to come down and what that's going to turn into. So just letting what be is the only way to go.
Yeah, and that's something so important, is just knowing that no matter what happens, there's going to be a lesson in it. And do you have that self-awareness of recognizing that lesson and taking what you are supposed to learn out of it to carry that forward with you?
Yeah, that's true. Because how many people have lessons that they're living right now that they're never going to see, or they're going to see when it's way too late in their life?
Yep. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So It's being in the in between is it's difficult. Transition periods and just not having absolutes either way and nothing solidified. Like it's a scary place to be. The unknown is a scary place to be. But knowing that whatever happens, like staying even, staying neutral, staying accepting and surrendering that, trying to control any outcome, that's where the stress relief is.
Yeah. Honestly, just talking about it like makes my stomach go into knots just because that's where I've lived. And it is going to just be so much more stress on you to try to control any outcome, good or bad. But, and also just to swing back to this one, like while you are in this transition period, like just remember that you are still moving forward. So keep that ball rolling while you're juggling everything else.
Yep. Yeah, you have to continue to show up. You can't just stop in place and expect, any sort of outcome either way. So I think
Exactly.
that's very, very important to point out. Sometimes, yeah, you do have to regain and, be able to let the dust settle and give yourself a second to think clearly and see clearly through the dust, but you still have to move forward. And this is something that I put in one of my recent posts. It's like we're still moving forward, but maybe just at a slower pace, right?
Hmm. Yeah, it's always ever forward. It's always, no matter, like, even if you don't want to, even if you're trying to go back, you can't.
Yep.
Oh,
And it's so cliche, but like seriously, don't dwell on the past. Don't look at the past literally unless you're just taking a second to recognize how far you actually have come.
very true. I love that. All right. You got
That
anything else?
mic drop.
Mic drop it to end it. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Next week will be episode 50,
Oh, yeah,
which
it
is
will be.
crazy. So
Man.
we're probably gonna do kind of a little bit of a recap, just kind of look back on some things, and then we will be back immediately after with season 3.
There's no ending.
So
It's just in our own brains.
yeah, but thank you so much for hanging out, guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.